Well, leave it up to hackers to get around any form of cybersecurity. It looks like a recent update for the PS4 is already hackable. I wonder if that explains the recent PlayStation Network outages. Let's give it some thought. What is going on, you wonderful thought-having people you? Give it thought back here on the day before Halloween for some not very scary news. Well, unless you work for Sony, that is. Yep, as I mentioned in the teaser, a workaround has already been found for one of the latest firmware updates for the PlayStation 4, which clearly leaves it open to all kinds of shenanigans. Now, of course, Sony has a history of this hacking stuff, and it seems like they go out of their way, sometimes to the detriment of consumers, to try and block this kind of stuff from happening. Who could blame them, though? That hack that occurred back in 2011 left PSN down for a straight 23 days and cost them untold amounts of money. This hack, however, is not a security-based one. Not really. It just lets people run a non-native operating system on the PS4. So without further ado, let's get right into this one and see how this hack occurred. This all started with a showcase at a Shanghai tech conference, appropriately named GeekPwn. Yeah, I don't think they could be any more on the nose. And as reported by Digital Trends, a group of so-called geeks showed off an exploit that would allow for an unauthorized version of Linux to run on the PS4. Apparently, these two fellows right here have figured out how to root the system through a particular browser exploit. And if you don't know what rooting is, it is just when you get full access to the system's files, which is something Sony has went to great measures to avoid. Long story short, the two guys showed how to bring up the original Super Mario Bros. On the system and continued by playing it with a DualShock 4, which almost seems sacrilegious to me. I'm a die-hard Sony fan through and through, but that kind of bothered me a bit. Anyway, Sony has since updated the system again to no one's surprise, but there is one thing to consider. The PlayStation 4 Pro will likely ship with this firmware. This most likely has Sony on their heels. Just know that this isn't confirmed, but the 4.0 update is the latest full update, and it came around the PS4 Pro's announcement, so it is likely the firmware that it is running. Even websites like Eurogamer seem to think so. The hackers that I showed a picture of a second ago seem pretty harmless to me. They just want to exploit the system to play other games, which I think is harmless mainly. Maybe not financially, so Sony has a reason to be upset, but what I'm saying is I don't think these guys pose a security danger. Problem is, other people might not think that way. If those guys found a way to root the system, then that leaves it wide open for all kinds of malicious practices, especially when files are accessible through the internet browser. Anyone with a little know-how could get in there and really cause some chaos for Sony. Sony seems particularly set up for this kind of thing for some reason. Rumor has it the reason they neutered the mods for Skyrim Special Edition is that they are afraid of that being an entryway for hackers. So that gives you an idea of just how skittish they are. Recently someone was running Super Mario 64 on an Xbox One through an emulator sold on the Windows Store, so it wasn't a hack, but it was running unlicensed games nonetheless. I doubt stuff like this will ever cease to happen. When you restrict people from doing things on an item they bought, like Sony removing the external OS feature from the PS3, 9 times out of 10 someone is going to find a way around that. Sure, downloading and playing a pirated game is illegal given that it constitutes theft, but I'm not sure rooting a system is as long as you don't try and attack the network through it. I don't know, maybe someone could change my mind down in the comments. So why not try? Do you think these hacks will result in any real damage? And on the flip side of things, are you happy to see Sony hacked? I know they have been doing the opposite of customer satisfaction lately, so I'm sure there are some of you out there that think that. But I think that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Hit that like button for me, and if you're new here, why not subscribe? I put out a new video every single day, and if you want to be caught up on all the latest Sony news, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. And I haven't done this in a while, but I just wanted to thank all the new subscribers that come to this channel. It really is astounding how much this channel has grown since I started, so just know I really appreciate that. But I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.